What's going on, guys? Todd here. Today we're going to show you how to install the Voyager top from Rugged Ridge on a two-door Jeep JL. For this installation, the tools we'll be using is a ratchet with a T40 Torx bit, a 3mm Allen wrench, and a Phillips head screwdriver. Now make sure you're subscribed to our channel to stay up to date with our latest content. Let's go ahead and get started. The first thing we want to do is assemble our door surrounds. Now you're going to have two of them in the kit, a left-hand side and a right-hand side. They're both exactly identical, just a mirror image of each other. What we're going to be doing is the left-hand side. Now they are marked in the bags left and right, but if you get them mixed up, just use this as a reference so you can know which side is left, which side is right. So this is what we're going to attack first. Now you'll notice we've got 3 holes here and 3 holes here. This is the front, this is the rear. The rear side has a side with a Velcro on top. What we're going to do is pull off this cap, set it to the side, and now you're also going to have a couple of brackets, a front and a rear. They're going to line up to those locations. Now those are also marked F and R for front and rear, but if you get them mixed up, the rear is going to be a little bit taller than the front. All right, now we're going to go ahead and take our rear bracket. You'll notice 3 holes on that bracket. We're going to slide that into this extension until it lines up with the 3 holes on the rear. This is directly up below the Velcro. Next, we're going to take 3 of our screws that come in the kit and thread them down into the holes. Now, I like to use a Phillips head screwdriver and get all 3 of them started before I tighten any of them down. All right, now you're also going to notice there's a hole just to the right of this bracket that's going to line up to this piece of plastic that slides in to that location. So what we're going to do is take another screw and go through that hole and into the plastic. It's going to kind of drill its own hole into the plastic. We're going to go ahead and tighten that down. All right, now we're going to go ahead and flip this 180 degrees, and we'll notice we got 2 more holes right here. We're going to go ahead and run screws through those as well. We're going to flip it back over and go up to the front. We'll take our front bracket, slide that in place, and install that similar to the same way, but before we start putting the screws through, we're going to take our cap that we pulled out and slide that in. You'll notice that 2 of the holes are going to be covered up on the back side by that cap. So we're going to start with the screws back here first, get those lined up, and then we can install that screw. All right, now we're going to flip that 180 degrees and go ahead and insert the 2 screws back here as well. All right, now if you follow the Velcro down to this corner piece, you'll notice you got an extension coming off of there. What we're going to do is we're going to take our metal box frame, we're going to slide it over top, make sure that lines up, then flip this over. You're going to notice we've got a hole right down here. We've got a knob in our kit that's threaded. We're going to thread that into that hole. Get it nice and tight. All right, now when we come down to this side over here, we're going to notice we got 1 more hole. This end piece needs to be turned in this direction. We're going to slide it in, make sure it's popped all the way in place, and we're going to put our last screw into this location right here. All right, now just repeat the same process for the passenger side door surround. All right, now we're going to go ahead and set our driver's side door surround in place. It's going to line up just like this. This corner up here is going to line up with this corner, and this is going to fit down in between along here. Let's go ahead and set that in place. All right, now let's go up top and line up the brackets up top. Okay, now the brackets front and rear that we installed earlier need to go around our roll bar. So what we're going to do is kind of slide that in place. Also, this notch up here needs to drop into that tab like so. Now let's look at the top and mount the mounting plate. Okay, now you'll notice with this door surround up top, the brackets are going to line up to factory holes. Now those will move around a little bit, so we're going to have to line some stuff up. Next, what we're going to do is get our mounting plate. Now, this is side specific. This is our driver's side mounting plate. So the part that faces to the outside kind of rounds down this way, and the part in the back kind of comes up. What we're going to do is we're going to set this in place. This part needs to go in between the two brackets, and then we'll line it up to this hole in the front, and then this hole lines up to a factory hole. So next, what we're going to do is we're going to take some of our long bolts with a knob, and we're going to go through the very front one, and you have to wiggle it around a little bit to get everything to line up. Don't tighten this up just yet. Just make sure you get everything lined up first. Again, just get the bolts started. Don't tighten them up just yet, because now we got to line up the last one. Now, just on the driver's side, we've got an extra piece of hardware. So this needs to be kind of facing down. That's going to line up to this back bolt. Passenger side does not have this piece. All right, once they're all lined up, we can go ahead and tighten them down. All right, now repeat the same for the passenger side. Okay, now here we are in the rear of the Jeep. This is just above the driver's side taillight. What I want to point out is this bolt right here. This is a factory bolt. It's T40. It needs to come out. So we're going to take T40, pull that out. And next we have our tailgate mount that needs to go in that location. If I flip this over, you'll see this is the hole that lines up, but then we've also got a peg that's going to line up to that hole. So we're going to set that in place and then put the factory bolt back through and then get it nice and snugged up. Repeat the same process on the opposite side. Okay, now we're inside the cab above the steering wheel. This is our header bar. This is the cast piece that your factory top attaches to and clamps down. That cast piece is going to stay, but these two bolts that hold that cast piece on have to come out so that we can put our new bracket in place. This is what's going to clip your new soft top down. Now on this clip, you're going to notice you've got the bracket is offset. This is going to be offset towards the outside of the vehicle, not towards the center. So what we're going to do is take out these two with a T40, put them back through here and through that cast piece, and tighten them back up. Do that on both sides. Okay, so here is the Voyager top. This is the roof portion. I've had this sitting out in the sun just to make it a little more pliable so it's easier to work with. This side right here with the snaps is going to be towards the front, and I've got it upside down so the pockets are visible. Next, what I'm going to do is take our header bar assembly and run it up to the top and kind of go around the pockets. We're going to line up the snaps. We're going to slide it into the tarp and then attach the snaps. Okay, so next we're going to take this plastic strip and separate it from our Velcro. We're going to bend it around and latch it onto our frame on either side. All right, do the same on the opposite side. All right, now on the back sides of these pockets, we're going to find some Velcro. What we're going to do is separate that Velcro and wrap it around the tube on the back side of the header channel assembly. We're going to do that for both pockets. All right, now we're going to go ahead and flip this over and roll it up from the back to the front. That's going to make it a lot more manageable so we can pick it up and sit up on top of the Jeep. All right, so now we've got the assembly sitting up on top of the Jeep. The header bar is right above where the windshield gasket is. Next, what we want to do is line up our pivot tubes to our mounting plate where we've got some hardware. Now, the way this is going to work is we're going to take this hardware apart. The pivot tube is going to slide over top of the bracket. Then we're going to have the bolt that goes through. And then the nut on the other side is going to recess inside the pivot tube, and that pivot tube is going to hold it in place. That way we can tighten this down using a 3mm Allen wrench. And rear works the same way. We just slide that over where it lines up. Back out the hardware, do the same thing. All right, repeat the same for the opposite side. All right, now that our top is attached to our mounting plate, we can go ahead and adjust our latches. So make sure the front edge of the top is lined up with our windshield gasket. And what we're going to do is drop our new bracket down and then raise this portion up. Now this can be threaded out or in. And so what we're going to do is we are going to thread this out until it gets right on the edge of the bracket on our top. Once it's in that place, we can go ahead and draw it down. Make sure you do not have this too tight, but make sure it's nice and snug. Repeat the same process for the opposite side. All right, now we can go ahead and roll our fabric back towards the rear. Now, we're going to need to free up these two straps because they need to actually drop down in front of our sound bar. Once they go in front of the sound bar, we're going to wrap them around, and then you're going to see a couple of holes on top of the sound bar. Those are going to hook into those holes, and then from underneath we can go ahead and cinch those down and get this nice and snug. All right, we'll go ahead and finish rolling it back to the rear. Okay, now in the back we're going to find we've got a couple of ceiling adjustment straps. This is what's going to set the alignment on the ceiling. So what we're going to do is we're going to attach it to the bottom of this flange. Now this is rubber coated, so it's going to protect the bottom. What we're going to do here is just pull it away from the Velcro, and then we can squeeze that and let some of the fabric out. Go underneath the flange and then cinch it down. Now you'll want to do the same thing on the opposite side and then adjust it side to side until the top is straight and even. All right, next we're going to be installing our side windows and then also the rear. So to make that a little easier, we're going to remove this from the Velcro. We'll fold it forward. Okay, now here is our driver's side window. Now I've had this out in the sun so it can get nice and warm and make it real pliable. That makes this a lot easier. What we're going to do is flip this around, and you'll notice at the rear we've got kind of a sleeve. What we're going to do is in our kit we're going to have a stiffener panel. The curve goes to the outside of the Jeep, so we're going to slide it up into that sleeve. And next we can go ahead and zip this onto the Jeep top. So we're going to bring it up to the zipper, get it connected, and then zip it all the way down. All right, repeat that on the passenger side, then we can move to the rear window. Now you want to make sure the Velcro that's on the sides is facing to the outside, not to the inside. Make sure you go ahead and line up the zipper to the zipper on your side. You're going to have to bring that zipper up to the top. Once that's connected, zip it down about 6 or 8 inches. Do the same on the opposite side. Okay, now the Velcro on the window is going to want to attach to the Velcro on the top. So what you want to do is kind of pull that away, and then your strap here, you want to line it up to that center buckle. And so once you get that strap lined up to the center buckle, go ahead and set it to the Velcro and loosely attach the strap. And then what we'll do, pull it away from the Velcro and then pull your windows down to set it on the sides, and then set your Velcro or set your straps up at the top here as well. We're just setting these loose for right now. We're not going to tighten these up yet. Okay, now here we are at the front edge of the driver's side window panel. Now this is going to go on the exact same way the passenger side does, so you're going to repeat the same process on that side when you're done with this side. But one thing you'll notice is that we've got kind of a rigid piece that's stitched into the front edge. It's a kind of a 90-degree angle. This needs to actually tuck into that channel. So it's going to kind of turn and tuck into this channel here of the door surround that we installed. So what we're going to want to do is kind of give it a nice pull to get it underneath our Velcro here, and then turn it and then tuck it in. Work that all the way down to the bottom. Now once we get down to the bottom, if you look on the bottom edge of this, you'll also see we've got a stiff piece that's stitched into the bottom of the panel. That needs to tuck up underneath this channel here. So what we're going to do is kind of pull it down and then use the palm of your hand and pop it in place like so. Now I just want to reiterate that this is much easier to do if this has been sitting out in the sun. That makes this a lot more pliable. So we're just going to work this all the way back to the back. Okay, now when you get to the rear, you'll notice you've got a corner piece that needs to be tucked all the way along there. So go ahead and do that. All right, go ahead and repeat that process on the opposite window. Okay, now in your kit, you're also going to have a tailgate bar. Now with this tailgate bar, you're going to notice you got a rubber gasket that's going to face towards the outside. I'm going to show you where it's going to set. Tailgate bar is going to rest into the tailgate mounts that we installed. So you're going to notice right here we've got an open channel. What that channel is for is the back edge of the window. You've got a bead that's stitched into the window that needs to slide into that channel. So I'm going to go ahead and pull the tailgate bar out. Get it lined up to the channel. We're going to go ahead and slide it into the bead. And once it's nice and even, we can go ahead and set it. Go ahead and set it into the mount. Then we can go ahead and zip down the sides. All right, now we can go ahead and cinch down our straps, fold the tarp back, and then set all our Velcro. Well, that concludes the installation. If you found this video helpful, make sure and give us a thumbs up. If you want to know more about the product, check the link in the description below. And as always, if you have any questions, call the experts or visit us online at RealTruck.com.